But if I may.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance. I didn't see a question in the statement from the congressman. I hope you appreciate how reckless it is. When I said reckless, feckless, and defeatist of congressional Democrats at the beginning, that came after watching you say the same thing on CNN this morning, a quagmire. My generation served in a quagmire in Iraq and Afghanistan, years and years of nebulous missions and utopian nation building that led us to nothing. What we have right now, the way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in. The effort, what they've undertaken, what they've succeeded, the success on the battlefield that could create strategic opportunities, the courage of a president to confront a nuclear Iran, and you call it a quagmire, handing propaganda to our enemies. Shame on you for that statement. And statements like that are reckless to our troops. Don't say I support the troops on one hand, and then a 2-month mission is a quagmire. That's a false equivalation. Who are you cheering for here? Who are you pulling for? Our troops are doing incredible work. They've done incredible things for the entirety of this mission and achieved incredible battlefield successes. And you sit there and go on TV for your clickbait about quagmires. It undermines the mission. Your hatred for President Trump blinds you to the truth of the success of this mission and the historic stakes that the president is addressing, which the American people support. Iran's been at war with us for 47 years. You want to talk about a forever war? For 2 months, this president has stared them down. He's going to get a better deal than anyone ever has and ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. I know the American people support that mission, despite your loose talk and words like quagmire.
And it'll knock out a lot of stuff. We don't knock out nothing. We knock out a lot. Pete, do you want to tell them about last night?
Yes, sir. Last night, as you said, a lot of small craft that they were trying to harass shipping with. So that was a big part of what we targeted. Underground facilities where they were storing drones or missiles, coastal defense sites, radar sites, surveillance sites, anything used to harass shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. So anything they thought they had rebuilt or capability they were using was a target last night. And tonight, if we need to, on your order, Mr. President, we will hit even more and even deeper, because that's the consequence.
And we may put down the blockade. We may put it back, the blockade. And it'll only be a blockade for Iran. Anybody else can have whatever they want. Now, of course, they'll drop some mines if they can, if they can do it. But it's hard because we're taking out those little boats now with the same weapon we used to take out the drug lords and the boats coming in.
Hello, Bobby Jones here for MeidasTouch and Valor Media Networks. Well, we're back at it again. The United States and Iran are trading military strikes in the Persian Gulf region, rendering the Memorandum of Understanding signed ironically at Versailles moot and void. Now, despite what everybody is saying, despite what is recently happening, President Trump has been put in a cycle that he can't get out of. One of the main reasons he's there is because of his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Hegseth, from all reports, egged the president to accept Benjamin Netanyahu's assessment of the situation and said, we should attack Iran. Now, mind you, this whole thing is President Trump's fault. But even President Trump, in recent interviews, basically laid the blame at Hegseth's feet. Now, all of this being said, I think there are 4 reasons why Pete Hegseth, as Secretary of Defense, should be fired immediately. Now, before I get into that, let's take you back to February 28th. Within a 12-hour period, the United States had 900 plus strikes on Iran. This is after Operation Midnight Hammer, which Hegseth bragged about till there was no end, saying that Midnight Hammer, with the stealth bombers used, obliterated. That was a term both the president and Hegseth used, obliterated Iran's nuclear program. But on February 28th, we saw that was not the case. And this leads to the first reason I think he should be fired. Number one, before he did anything militarily, he fired 2 groups of people. He fired the Civilian Harm Oversight Committee that was at the Pentagon, whose sole purpose was to oversee targets and make sure that civilian casualties were kept at a minimum. And then he also fired the heads of the Judge Advocate General Corps, the JAG Corps, of both the Army, the Navy, and including the Air Force, meaning the top lawyers were removed before any military strikes happened. Why did he do that? Because those lawyers are responsible for saying what's an ethical strike, using rules of engagement and use of force, and what's not. And he did not want his service members, as he put it, to be handcuffed by stupid rules of engagement. Well, those rules of engagement and the lack thereof led to the second reason he should be fired, and that is the Menab school strike. The all-girls school that was hit within the first 24 to 48 hours of this conflict killed over 150 people, most of them school-age girls. When asked about this that next week, Hegseth basically said it was an unfortunate situation and is still under investigation. It's been under investigation for over 80 days. Where's the report? No one's been held accountable. He has not readdressed the issue, while you still have families mourning, families that had nothing to do with Iran, the United States, whatever, just families that sent their girls to school. The fact that there is no accountability, the fact that there has been no investigation report released to the United States Congress or the American press or the American people says everything you need to know about Hegseth. Right then, no integrity shown on the international stage. But if that's not enough for you, reason number 3, he finally goes in front of Congress, and what is the first thing you do? He lies. He lies about how these nuclear facilities were obliterated. Even though Midnight Fury or Midnight Hammer happened, nothing, no obliteration there. Now we're dealing with Epic Fury. No obliteration there. We're still dealing with these same lies saying everything's been obliterated, but yet the nuclear facility, the nuclear material has not been secured. And Iran is consistently still striking United States allies and shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. But of course, they've been obliterated. So like Representative Adam Smith asks, if they're obliterated, why is the war still going on? Seems like a very valid question. The Washington Post, the New York Times, and other credible organizations have already said that whatever he said in Congress as far as how this war is going is a complete bold-faced lie. But don't take my word for it. Take the word of service members. That leads me to the fourth point of why he should be fired. After these strikes started and American bases got hit, over 17 of them getting hit, he lied about the casualty reports. He basically said, hey, not many casualties. Yes, we have the 13 that were killed, but other than that, pretty much low and everybody's returned to duty. That's not the case, according to the military families and the actual service members themselves. Things that have been passed off as concussions were actually shrapnel wounds. You have families who are worried that their service member will not get the care that they deserve because everything has been downgraded. So let me get this straight. You put these service members in these positions. You didn't give them proper and adequate cover. And now that they're wounded, you won't let anybody talk to them, talk about it, and you won't even acknowledge that they're actually injured. So their care is going to suffer. This is the ultimate betrayal because Pete Hegseth put them in harm's way by egging the president on to do this and then not providing proper protection for them when necessary. I mean, we saw it on the Gerald R. Ford, everything bombed out and people sleeping on floors and stuff. It's unbelievable, the state of the force as they are scrambled all over the region, but yet Iran's military has been obliterated. I don't know how else to frame this. He has zero credibility. He has zero credibility on the international stage. He has zero credibility domestically. But most importantly, he has zero credibility with the own service members he's supposed to be leading. And now, as the war re-escalates, as everything picks back up, we're seeing service members in various social media posts saying, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? They can't even go into their offices. Why? Because their bases have been bombed out anyway. But it doesn't seem to matter because Hegseth is going to quote something from a 1980s action film, go out there with his slick back hair and tell you everything is okay. I can't stress to you enough how hard it is to try to have integrity when everybody knows you're lying. But most importantly, when you're putting people's lives in danger and you have zero remorse and you think everything is a political statement, you have no business leading troops in any country, let alone any employee for that matter, because at the end of the day, it's not your ass on the line. It's everybody you're supposed to be leading.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.